So this is the chapter 2 reflection post video. So I guess the first point that really stuck out to me while reading the chapter was part about passions, and I underlined this part in the book that says your passions more than your beliefs determine your life actions and directions. And then later I underlined, most likely it is not your belief in God that needs to increase, but your passion for God must grow in order to give you the momentum to thrive in the face of resistance. And I think that really spoke to me because sometimes I feel like I need to I don't know, when I'm going through adversity, believe more that God will get me through it. But when I was reading this chapter, I guess understanding more that what passion is more like you'll actively do things to improve it. So instead of believing that God will, or having more belief in God that he'll do something for you, have the active trust. And by active I mean not like belief, like how it's saying the difference between belief and passion involves actions. So actively trusting means you're doing actions that show that you're trusting. So when God provides an opportunity for you to trust him, you take that action instead of believing that he'll do something for you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I think sometimes I definitely have bigger passions for other things, such as just personal accomplishments and things that don't honestly matter as much. So I need to shift my energy and focus into having a passion more for God, and doing that through actions. Second point is this part about wrestling and sacrifice, I guess. So I did a little, or in the wrestling match section I wrote, or I underlined this part: intimacy in any relationship is hard work. And then I highlighted, anything worthwhile in life comes from a sustained momentum in the same direction. And then I did a little footnote that says relationship with God requires devotion on our behalf. And basically what all those three things are saying is that basically it's kind of the same point I was making earlier about how it takes action and actually doing things to improve, and not just sitting around doing nothing. It's gonna be hard work, but through doing it through Christ, he'll provide you the strength and the rest you need to be able to do it. So, but it doesn't mean you just sit around and wait for God to do things. When it comes to knowing what God's plan for you, you have to take the signs and actively trust, even if you don't know what the result will be. The act of doing it shows that you're trusting in him, that that it's what you're supposed to be doing, and that you're trusting that he's leading you in the right direction, even if the result seems like it's gonna be bad. Actually doing it shows your faith, really. Let's see, later on I did some more stuff. I liked what it talked about, the 4 different worldviews, and I think and it kind of aligns with sacrifice. So there's secular, soft secular, post-secular, and then Christian. And all the secular ones, well, the not hard secular, but just regular secular is just basically living for the world and kind of not believing that, God is not even real, but like that he shouldn't have an effect on how you live your life. And the soft secular is kind of like you believe in Jesus and like you claim you're a Christian, but you kind of like live the two separate, like you only like believe and actively do things for God when it seems convenient for you. And then post-secular is kind of, I was honestly kind of confused between the difference, but I think what the difference is like, when, like, I'll try to read some of this. It's kind of like only trusting God when it makes sense, but if God is hindering you in something, like, for the future, then you shouldn't, like, do some. It's like kind of like only trusting God when it seems convenient for you. And then Christian is putting God first and laying down your life for him. And basically what it says in Luke chapter 9, where you pick up your own cross daily. So, and then I think the section about donation versus sacrifice was pretty important, because it was like a donation is kind of like something like going to church where it doesn't really impact your life or change your life. It's just like doing a small act that's like kind of anyone can do, but sacrifice is doing something that like actually changes your like worldview and like your life direction. Like sacrifice is like completely giving up on whatever, because like say someone like wants to go to this school or a certain school or something, because they got a full ride or whatever, but God, like, that in your heart God wants you to go to a different school, even if it'll like it's more money or it's less convenient in a certain way. It's basically trusting God to do harder things that make, well, not necessarily your life harder, but that doesn't seem like it would be beneficial. And so now I'll go over like 2 of the questions at the end. I'm trying to go a little faster than I did last time, but definitely have to work on that. The 2 questions I liked, that it talked about this in the chapter. The first question is, what do the closest people to you say is your passion? And I'm kind of thankful for this, that people don't, or the 2 friends I asked didn't really see like a specific like hobby or activity as my passion, but they said that they feel like I'm passionate about bettering myself and helping others improve and myself improve at things, just the general idea of improving. And they also included like saying like improving upon my faith is something that I seem passionate about, and I feel like that's like the direction I want to be in, because I'm glad that's like evident to at least my friends. I'm not sure like if it's evident to other people, but I definitely want to get to that point where like someone I don't know as well sees in me that it's evident that I want to improve in my faith and just whatever I also enjoy doing. And then the last question is that I'll go over is, God is looking for people who will take their lives out of park and shift them into drive, and how does that apply to you? So recently I've been like living by this concept of active trust, and because I've always like trusted in God, and I've heard people say to actively trust in him, but I never like fully understood what the active part means. but like I heard a sermon like a couple weekends ago at church, and I kind of gave me a better perspective of like active is like doing the actions that God wants you to do. And like I said before, like you don't know specifically what the result of those actions are going to be, but doing them shows your trust, and it really grows your faith when you do them. And even if it's not like a result you thought or intended, like God will use that result somehow to improve either your faith or it'll help someone in some way. And that's really what I've been trying to do more, is like instead of like sitting and trusting in God by like praying that he'll do something, like actively trust in him by doing the actions that like I feel in my heart he wants me to do. So yeah, that's basically it. I definitely enjoyed this chapter in the devotion aspect, and excited to read more later.